Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're back
back.
with another Poor Boy Chronicles.
Yeah, we got some news this week.
Yeah,
Some
well,
crazy stuff happened in the last few weeks.
Before we get into that, let's just go ahead and say we appreciate all y'all that are still listening.
Yeah, we got video.
Trying to support. So, but yeah, y'all can, being we got video, y'all can see this on YouTube or some TikTok.
Yeah, we'll try to get some stuff on TikTok.
But y'all can also send us anything you want on our email to poorboychronicles23 at gmail.com.
Gmail.com.
You could actually reach out to us on Facebook too if you want.
Yeah, Poor Boy Chronicles. We've got TikTok, so you can send us a message on there.
Yep.
And you can even send messages on Spotify now.
Oh, really?
You can DM straight to Spotify. Well, it's a comment section.
I don't know if I wanted people sliding into my DMs yet. I ain't ready for all that.
It's been a while, Barry.
It has been a while. But I don't know if I want people sliding in my
I need to fix
DMs.
my shorts. I don't want anybody to see my nuts.
No, I don't want to see them either. So I threw my leg up and put the laptop
That'd
here.
be something like somebody zoom in on the video. What's that? Like those pictures that nobody catches it and somebody points it out.
So they're just looking into it too deep. That's what it is.
It's gonna make a lot of weird noise, but I gotta take this little microphone stand off here.
Oh, can you hit the mute on top of your thing?
No, that's only when you're plugged in USB. Those buttons will only work when it's plugged in USB. Trust me, I researched.
Okay. I'm glad you did.
On the video, we got my wonderful wife sitting here. She said she would sit here. She might not talk, but you gotta put that mic pretty close to your face if you're gonna talk.
And you gotta turn it on too.
Yeah,
I did turn on.
she did.
I
You
didn't
only
see.
call me wonderful when you are showing off to other people.
No, I don't. Shut up.
I don't know. I'm here a lot, and I don't
we
hear it
got-
half the time.
See, I
We
got
got
back up.
the little pet cat, little kitten over here. How old is she? Like 4 years old now.
Yeah,
Mm.
we got her after Adam was born.
So if you hear any purring or scratching or anything, that's the cat.
Yeah, she's coming to me currently, so she wants to lay up here. She can lay up here.
Yeah, she's a good cat. She don't bother nobody.
Well,
Like I've said before, I'm not a cat person, but I like this cat.
she ain't paying attention to that pillow. You try to get her to lay down right there.
Tried to get her to lay down on a pillow, but she just wants Barry to pet her.
Zach, people might also notice something else going on in the video.
Yeah, I'm down a finger right now. It ain't completely gone, but it was close.
Is that a good finger to lose, I guess?
I mean, it is my left hand, so
Yeah, that's true.
if I had to lose it, it would
That
be
is
my
your
dominant
driving hand, though.
Yeah, I know.
It's not your shifting hand, that's your driving hand.
Yeah, it sucks trying to drive and do stuff with one hand.
How many people done think you done flicked them off?
Not many. I try to keep my other fingers up too, so
Okay.
I don't look.
Alright.
I did tell somebody the other day that I was on the CB with. I waved at him. I said, "I'm not flipping you off. I just can't really move my finger."
I mean, I don't know. Sometimes you probably need to do that a little bit while you're out on the road.
Yeah, wiggle it a little bit and flip people off too.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some people that have definitely flipped me off.
Oh, I bet so. I mean,
I had a
most
guy
people do
the
flip.
other day. There was a wreck on the highway, and a mile back or so, it said, "Oh, traffic, right lane closed." Well, I was in the right lane. There was a bunch of, or the left lane. There was a bunch of us already moved over, and this dude waits till he's 100 yards away to come flying up that right lane, and then no,
That's one of them ones that doesn't be like, oh, no.
I wasn't letting him over. I left about 2 foot between me and the pickup ahead of me when we started moving, and when he finally passed me, he flipped me off.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I haven't really done that. I have flicked some people off, but that's ones that just slam the brakes on you.
Oh yeah.
Why just slam the brakes on me? Like, there's no reason that you should be doing that. But whatever. Or
Yeah.
ones that'll turn out in front of me. I might have done that, but
Yeah.
do you actually want to tell the story, or
Yeah,
do you want your
I
lovely
can,
wife over there to do it?
I
then?
can tell my story, and then let her tell her
I
part.
wasn't
of the
there
story.
when it actually happened, so.
Yeah. So
He come in screaming like a little baby.
No, he called me frantic.
if any of y'all are curious, if you're working on the engine of a car while the motor's running, don't put your finger anywhere near the belt because it will cut your finger off almost. I didn't lose mine, but I had to get, y'all can't tell it too much in the video because it's wrapped up, but they put 26 stitches and probably 5 shots of lidocaine to numb it. They had to give me nerve medicine because my anxiety was out the roof,
Mm-hmm.
and it bled for probably 3 days, 4 days. And I just got off of antibiotics, had to take 40 antibiotic pills, and I got all my stitches out, but it still hurts pretty bad. I can't really bend it too well. Got to keep it wrapped up. At least they said at least until the scabs are done,
Yeah.
until they're healed up.
So it'll probably take a little while.
But if anybody wants to see pictures, I can post them somewhere.
Yeah.
I can't do it on. I could probably do it on Facebook, but I have to. I'd
It'd have to be one of the ones that you can censor.
Yeah, I'd
Yeah,
have to
because
censor it because I did try to post a TikTok video, but it canceled it.
Yeah.
Community guidelines.
I think you can still post those and just say, all right,
I sent
if
a
I
review.
want to.
Go ahead.
It'd be one of the ones of, okay, well, I'm gonna give people the option, saying there might be blood and stuff like that in it.
Yeah, I did.
Um,
So it flagged it, and I went back and tried to do an appeal. And I asked on there, I said, could you not put a censor, like,
mhm.
if you want to view it? And they never sent anything back, so I guess not.
What you should have done was posted a picture of the car right there where you were trying to, and then like, what? This is what happens whenever you stick your finger down in here,
Yeah.
and then swipe the right or whatever. Oh, that's what happens.
It's rough. So, the story is the AC on my little car had stopped working. So, I was thinking, well, let me just pop the hood, see if I see anything that's unplugged, or see if the AC compressor's turning. Well, the compressor wasn't turning, and sometimes you can tap on the pulley and it'll
Mhm.
unlock it and it'll get to spinning. Well, I went down to lightly tap it, and it caught my finger and it yanked it under the belt and wrapped it around. And my first instance was to pull it out of there, and it dang near cut the end of my finger off.
Yeah.
So I advise don't do that.
But see, when he called me, he was like, I just cut my finger with the belt because he was just so frantic and everything. I was like, the belt? Like the seat belt? Like, how the hell did you cut your finger off with a seat belt? He's like, I gotta go to urgent care or the hospital or something. I'm like, well, how did you hurt yourself on the daggone seat belt?
It's Zach. Zach could find a way to hurt himself on the seatbelt.
Yeah, well,
No,
in the
that's you.
moment, all I could think
No.
was,
Yeah.
No. No.
all I could think was, I gotta get somewhere fast because I am bleeding and this hurts really bad. All I could find was I looked in the floorboard and there was a red shop rag. Don't know, no telling how long it was there. But I wrapped that thing around my hand and basically made a makeshift tourniquet on my finger and took off to the hospital, probably running 100 miles an hour.
You didn't find the duct tape or the electrical tape?
No, I didn't have any tape. But I was holding it up above my heart, trying to keep the blood
Yeah.
from rushing so bad. So I looked funny riding down the road, my hand up in the air, and a red rag wrapped around my finger.
Flipping people off as you go by?
Yeah. And I'd never seen any cops until I took the exit for the highway, and then there was a sheriff deputy right behind me.
It's like, oh crap.
And I seen him, and he followed me all the way to the hospital. And then when I turned left, he kept going straight.
He was probably like, alright.
He probably seen me when I was flying down the highway and decided, well, I'm going to trail him a little bit
Yeah.
and see what's going on here. And if I wouldn't have went to the hospital, he probably would have pulled me over.
Yeah. You probably would have. He could have been a real a-hole and just followed you into the hospital, but he was probably like, no.
He
It was an
needed to get
emergency.
there. Yeah. It was one of those things. I could have called 911, but I would have gotten to the hospital quicker than they would have gotten me
Yeah.
to the hospital. And there's nothing they could have done in the back of an ambulance except
No.
for wrap it up and maybe give me some pain medicine. That'd be about it.
So, in that instance, say you had your red lights still on that car, or put the red light on there, because you turned that red light on.
Probably it wouldn't have been legal, but I probably would have done it if I would have had a red flashing light in
Yeah.
there. Because I'm not responding to any calls.
That's true.
But it would have definitely made people move out of the way.
Yeah. I mean, it's just been one of those things of like, okay, I do have an emergency, and this is an emergency light.
Yeah.
Screw it.
They would,
I'm doing it.
they would consider it misuse of lights and sirens. That's just how it
no,
goes.
That's true.
Yeah, it hurt pretty bad. So moral of the story is do not get your hand anywhere close to the serpentine belt on a car while it's running. We've all had close calls with a lot of guys have with doing dumb stuff on a vehicle or whatever, get real close to either mashing your finger real bad or cutting your finger real bad. And I just got that close call wasn't close anymore.
He called himself an idiot like 5 times that night.
Yeah.
He's like, it was my own fault. I was being an
I
idiot.
knew it was my own
He
dang
texted
fault.
me, and I said, well, what in the world was you doing? He goes, I was trying to see if the belt was running on the air compressor. I said, well, was it running? He goes, nope. I said, all right, at least you know.
It dang sure hurt. I will say, the worst part of it was the very end of the finger, which is where most of the
Yeah.
nerve endings are anyway. But it was, she numbed it probably 5 times, and I could still feel the end of the finger. And she was like, I'm gonna have to put stitches in it. So I gotta
Well.
inject medicine in the end of your finger. And you talk about a rough pain. I was about to climb up off of that bed. It
Well,
hurt so bad.
If you think about it too, being your nail got ripped off as well, and
Yeah.
that's where all the blood flows to.
That
pretty
nail
much.
bed is real sensitive.
Yeah.
It started crusting up, so the nail bed don't hurt anymore. But the end of the finger, that was the worst spot ever.
You're gonna be looking like Chris.
Yeah, have a messed up fingernail.
Have a messed up fingernail.
Yeah, they
Chris is
said
the
it'll,
pinky. Now yours is the middle.
they said it'll grow out. It'll probably have a bump in the middle of the fingernail
Yeah.
when I had the stitches pulled out. And the stitches, they probably hurt worse than than them putting stitches in.
Oh, what? Taking them out?
Yeah, when they took them out.
Well, yeah, because you weren't medicated up and everything else. Huh?
No, they were trying to stick me with, trying to pull everything with no medicine.
Yeah, I heard part of that story. You said you was about to pass out and everything else.
Oh, he got pale. I looked up and he was like as white as like your thigh where the sun don't shine. He got pale.
I've never
Yeah, it's
been
pretty-
one. I've never
pretty
really
pale.
passed out or anything, but I was close to passing out Friday night in the hospital. Because I was a little nervous, anyways, because I'd got over a lot of the pain from cutting my finger, and then I knew they were going to have to pull stitches out, and it was going to hurt again. So I had it in my mind that this is going to hurt. I don't want to deal with it again,
Nerves.
and my
He was sitting
nerves
there,
were
he said-
rushing.
I said, "You okay?" He said, "Stop talking."
I was just trying to focus on my breathing
Leave me alone.
and
Just leave
trying
me
to
alone.
get, like, I had my phone in my under my lap, and I had my hat on. I was throwing stuff. I was like, just get everything away from
The
me.
PA saw
'Cause
him
I'm
like
going
10 feet
fast.
away. She said, "You okay?" He said, "No." She's like, "Let me get you some water."
She said, yeah. She's like, you good? And I was like, no, I'm not good. She started pulling the stitches, and the bad part was under the underside, some of the skin had started growing over them, so she was having to pick it out, and she got all but one, and I was like, you're gonna have to stop. She said, you're all right? And I was like, no, that hurts bad. I was like, that is some of the worst pain I've had in a while, having to pick the stitches out under the skin. And I told her to stop, and then I could feel it. My breathing was getting funny, and my eyes were getting blurry, and I was sweating. I mean, I could have filled a bucket up with my sweat in about 5 minutes. So she had to get some water for me, and she gave me some nausea medicine. It was one of them things that something was coming out of me, and I didn't know what end it was gonna come out of. I told my wife, I said, I'm gonna either poop myself, I'm gonna throw up, or I'm gonna pass out. It was bad.
We could have been out of there an hour and a half earlier, but he
But
was like,
I was
"Ugh."
shaking, and I was dang near about to pass out. And she gave me a wet rag, put a wet rag on my back of my neck, which that'll help bring the blood flow back to the core of your body. I did research that, why they do that. And gave me some nausea medicine.
That's
Gave
why
me,
you do it when you have a headache too.
yeah. She gave me a nerve medicine that was, the needle, I kid you not, it was, y'all can't really see it. It was about 1.5 inches long, and they had to put it right in my shoulder. And I looked over and I was like, the girl that gave it to me, I was like, why'd you have to put that all the way in my arm? She buried that thing to the syringe. I was like, oh my
It gets in the
God.
muscle.
That's what it was. But I was like, good Lord. And I was like, man, that hurts. And she's like, yeah, that one there. The stick didn't hurt. It was the medicine. That thing hurt for 3 days.
Well, that's like,
And then they gave me lidocaine after they gave me nerve meds. She numbed my finger, and I was good. I was talking to her, cutting up with her when she stuck me, when she was pulling the stitches out. And I didn't feel a thing after that.
oh, well, I mean, technically, really, the moral of the story should be, don't stick your finger, or you wouldn't stick your, you know what?
Your wiener.
Yeah, your wiener.
That's what I told her when I first happened. I told her, I said, many guys have told me to say it, and she said, what? And I said, don't put your finger, if you wouldn't put your wiener there, don't put your finger there.
Yep.
And she just started laughing. She said, I ain't never heard that one before. But they did a good
it's
job
kinda
at Chatham.
true.
Yeah, they did a good job at Chatham Hospital. The girl that actually worked on it. We tried to get her to come on the podcast. I mentioned it. She said she would ask. She would have loved to have done it, but with the HIPAA regulations and the laws, she said, I just don't want to risk anything to maybe cause me to lose my job. I said, that's fine. I understand. But she was real nice about it. And she was the same one that took my stitches out, which I really would like. I like that she did it because she put the stitches in, so she knew what to do to get them out. It wasn't somebody having to read
Most
them.
nurses should know what to do. to
Yes,
get out.
but she knew
She was
where
a
she
PA
put
nurse.
stitches.
She was a PA.
She knew where she put the
Oh, yeah, they
stitches,
would
and
know
she
when to get
knew she put them in there, so I felt comfortable that she knew how to take them out the right way.
You should have just let me take them out.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna fuck a knife.
Yeah, I thought about it, and then I was
What
like,
I said, save us some money. Let me
no.
snap 'em out.
Because she sent me home with a goodie bag too. She gave me all kinds of bandages and all the metal utensils that she had
Like
to
5
use.
different saline
She said-
syringes.
She was like, you want my tools? Because if not, I'm going to have to throw them away. I was like, yeah, I'll take them home. They work good for cutting the bandages and
Yeah.
picking, if I had little pieces of fabric or whatever in it, I could pick it out.
I mean, I could have found that for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know somebody who works there. So.
I do.
But then
I
she
just have
gave me
to.
a bunch of gauze and a bunch of saline syringes. But it's healing up. I will say it's healing up better. It's just a little stiff. I can't really bend it too well, which it probably won't. I won't probably be able to bend it all the way.
So it looks
There's
like you
much
still
scar
have,
tissues in it.
do you still have like a little metal rod right there
No,
to
they
keep it
didn't.
straight?
They didn't have to put anything.
Okay.
I did have a splint, a little plastic splint,
Yeah.
but she told me when she pulled the stitches that I didn't have to use that anymore.
That helps. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just.
You want to tell her about my close episode of, I hadn't told Barry yet. This will be a raw reaction when I was doped up on medicine. So
Well, we were there the
I'll
first
introduce the story. When I was getting my stitches and everything, and I was bleeding, they had me doped up on pain meds and nerve meds and everything. And I was sitting there and I was like, man, I gotta piss. I gotta pee. I'm gonna pee myself.
He asked the nurse. He was like,
And-
"Hey, is it okay if I go to the bathroom?" She gave him a bottle.
She gave me one of those pee bottles, and I had my finger all wrapped up and bloody. They hadn't even started putting stitches
No, I
in it.
thought you were soaking it.
Oh yeah, I was soaking it.
You-
So
so
she
he was
had
soaking
me
it in
soak it in saline. So my left hand was compromised.
So
And
it's true.
I was on a
Stick your hand in water, makes you gotta go pee.
yeah, for real. So I was sitting on the bed, and I was like, I'm gonna piss myself.
Mind you, we also weren't in one of the rooms with an actual door. We were in
We
one
just
of
had
the
a
single
curtain.
rooms with a curtain.
Yes.
And I was sitting there, and
In
I was
there.
like, I'm gonna piss myself. And I asked her, I said, can I go to the bathroom? She was like, you gotta go 1 or 2. I was like, I just gotta go number 1. Like, I gotta go pee real bad. And she said, well, with your medicine, I don't want you to walk across the hall. So she gave me one of those bottles with the little handle on it that you pee in. And she was like, you need some help? But I was like, no,
She
I'm
looked
good.
at me. She said, "You're his wife, right?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Okay, so I'm not
You
putting you
can
in a
help."
predicament. You can help."
And I was sitting there, and I told my wife, I said, I can do it. I just need some help. I had her help me get
He
to the
said,
edge of the bed.
Guard the door.
And she stood in front of the curtain, and I went for felt like 5 minutes. I about filled that thing up.
The ball was like this big, and he filled it up deep.
And my dumb self, so I didn't grab my hand under the handle. Like the handle is like you can pick it up and carry it. Well, I didn't have my hand right. I just had it around the spout of the bottle. And I was sitting there, and I was going. I was almost done. And I felt the thing start slipping, and I looked at her, and I was like, "I need help." I was like, "Get over here right now!" I was frantic. I was 2 seconds from dropping that piss bottle all over the floor. I had it going through my mind like, what is gonna happen if this slips out of my hand?
Clean up in room 5.
His face was
Clean up
like
in
pure
room
shock.
5.
Like, I need help.
It was
Come
one
quick.
of
I'm gonna
those-
drop it.
I was like, come over here now. I need help. Like I was trying not to be loud because I didn't want to draw attention.
There was a lady on the other side of the curtain.
There was an old lady in the curtain next to us. And I just had a look of pure shock. Like, I'm going to spill this whole bottle of piss all over the floor.
Sonny, you okay over there?
I couldn't imagine what would have happened if I'd have dropped that thing.
Oh.
It would have splattered everywhere. We would have they'd have been like, y'all good? No, we're not good. You might want to bring
Clean
the
up in
janitor.
room
Yeah.
8.
Clean up in room 5. Clean up in room 5. Golly.
I forgot all about telling you that, but I like to see your raw reaction.
I
Like,
can see that.
you,
Okay,
you're
so here's hold on. Here's the next question. Which one was you holding the bottle with, left or right hand?
I think my left hand, so I was only able to use a few fingers anyway.
I don't
Okay.
remember.
I can understand that because you're a righty. So yeah, if you're gonna hold something, you can
Oh
hold.
yeah, you were
Yeah.
holding it left-handed.
It was a
It'd
struggle
been-
to even get everything situated so I could pee in that bottle. I was like, this is not comfortable. I would have been better to take a walker and go to the bathroom. But they said they might need a sample. So I gave them a sample. I gave them well enough more than a sample.
He
Make sure your
He
butt
just
wasn't
kept
on
going, and I was like,
I
"How
would
much
have
you
probably
got?"
filled up a 20-ounce Gatorade bottle.
That's right. Oh god,
You're alright, you gonna cry.
I'm alright.
Like, you're a dude who's pissed in many bottles. You know that feeling when you get close to the
Yeah,
top of the bottle and you're like, I'm
You gotta
gonna
finish
fill
that
this
thing off.
out.
just pinch it off. Throw that bottle out the window.
Or,
Grab another bottle.
or if you hit a bump and you're like, I'm gonna spill this everywhere.
Make sure it's a wide mouth bottle too.
Yeah, gotta keep that big Gatorade bottle. But it was a look of shock. I was gonna drop that thing.
He
For a
did.
split
His
second,
face-
I wasn't worried about my finger. I was worried about dropping this
his
bottle
face
of
did.
piss.
He was like, "Help, help!"
and I mean, she was 10 feet away, so it was one of them. You better get over here now. 'Cause I'm gonna drop this bottle,
Move it down to my pinky finger.
and that's what I
Go.
did. She helped me readjust it, and I put my fingers underneath the handle and finished what I was doing. But I had to pinch it off and everything.
With someone, if you were still going, come here. Come here. Hurry up.
But I was darn high as a kite and doped up on meds, and I was about to drop that sucker.
Surprised you didn't say something stupid.
Oh, I said enough of that when the girl was putting stitches in my
Hey,
ear.
yeah, he wouldn't shut up while she was putting stitches.
I was
and
talking
just
junk to her. The other day when she was pulling my stitches out and she stuck me with a needle, I said, "You're not my friend anymore." And she just started laughing. I told her after this, "You're going to have to take me out for some ice cream or something." And she said, "If your wife wasn't sitting there, I would have found that awkward." I was like, "No, I'm good. I'm just talking crap."
You don't have to worry, I'm never threatened.
No. It would have been cool to get her on the podcast though, but I understand. It's better safe than sorry is what she told us. She said now if I would have known you beforehand, then it would have been different. But her boss man told her like, look, you only know him through putting stitches in his hand.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Said I just don't want to have to worry about paperwork, and she was like, we'd have to fill out all kinds of forms and everything to release it and for HIPAA regulations.
I was gonna say, I know we're a boss man. I might could have got away with it, but it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Go cut off your finger and go talk.
No,
Bring
I'm good.
Bring a camera, bring the microphone in there. Like this is gonna be live, everybody.
Have it on my, have one of those lapel ones.
Yeah, here, put this on you right quick.
I'm good. I know where not to stick my finger.
Yeah, don't put it on a serpentine belt.
Just
But-
kills me. You worked on so many cars and you stuck your finger
I'm
in a
telling you.
running engine.
I have mashed my finger. I have cut my finger, and I've been in places where after that happens, you're like, dang, I could have hurt myself. Like that, I was inches away from hurting myself. I'm sure you have too. You've been real close to like, oh, that would have hurt real bad if that would have went south, and it just one in a million shot that it actually goes south.
Yeah.
And you get hurt. You get lucky a lot of times.
I mean, I know I've had a few very close calls, especially
That's
when I
what
was
I'm
working at Timken.
Yeah.
About 200-pound parts dropping on my finger.
Yeah, did you about cut one of your fingers off, didn't you?
Yeah.
Or you know a guy that was working with you about cut his finger off.
I about cut my, well, I didn't,
You had stitches
I
that
almost
time,
broke,
didn't
yeah. Almost broke mine. I flipped it over and crushed it in between the table and
you? Piece of metal.
probably about a 150-pound part, and then went to go flip it, and I thought I had my finger out of the way of the table. Nope, I did not. I let it sit there for a little bit, and I was like,
This hurts.
this hurts. And then as the days, I think I let it go for a little bit because it just kind of got blood up underneath my fingernail and started swelling a little bit. I was like, I think I need to get this thing drained.
Yeah, you might want to go to the hospital.
Well, luckily we had a nurse on hand, and she had one of those metal prickers that heats up, and she's like, but it's not working, so you're gonna have to go to urgent care. I was like, really?
So during my whole adrenaline rush, I was going through Liberty, probably running 60, and there's an urgent care, and I was like, I gotta stop somewhere. And just wasn't thinking. I really didn't survey the damage of my finger. I knew I cut it, but I didn't know how bad because I was rushing to stop the blood. So I stopped at the little local urgent care with a rag wrapped around my hand, and they've got a little kiosk that you got to check in, which you've been there.
Mm-hmm.
You got to check in with an iPad. There ain't even somebody sitting at a desk. Yeah, there was
When I
before,
yeah,
but
there was.
there's not now.
Hmm.
And I was like,
Oh, probably the time of the day too.
yeah, I was like, I gotta do something. Like, I gotta get some help. I can't type on this thing. So I hit the button that says, I'm having a medical emergency. I pressed it so I could hear it dinging in the back office. And she came out there, and I was like, I just cut my finger real bad. I don't know how bad I cut my finger, and I don't know if y'all can do anything. She said, now, if it's a light cut, I was like, no, it ain't a little cut. She told me, well,
That's a
you
light
might
cut.
want
We can give you a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
She said, I
They charge you
could
$20.
do simple stitches,
Or
but
more.
anything bad, I can't. And I was like, yeah, it ain't that simple. She's like,
Yeah.
yeah, you might want to
He
go to
was
the
telling
hospital.
that to the PA when she was stitching up his finger. She said, "You went to the urgent care
He
for this."
laughed. Was like, you went to urgent care? I was like, well,
I mean,
it was my adrenaline just rushing, and I thought I need some help now. I thought maybe they could bandage it or something to kind of slow the bleeding until I could make it to the
electrical
hospital.
tape.
Yeah.
Electrical tape.
My rag did pretty good.
That's
I
when you
will
put the rag
say-
on it and then wrap it with electrical
What they
tape.
do? Throw
I've
that
done
right
that
away?
many a time. Oh yeah,
They
we,
probably did.
so we got into the. You hadn't got there yet. They
Yeah.
went put me in triage, and she said I'm gonna have to unwrap it and we'll look at it. We're gonna get you some X-rays, and I said, well, it's gonna bleed. Like as soon as you take this rag off, it's gonna bleed bad. And she drug a trash can over there in a little tray, and she started unwrapping it. And the skin was sticking to the rag where the blood started
Yeah,
drying.
That's what I figured.
So she had to go get about 4 things of saline and start soaking it as I was lightly peeling the rag off. And y'all want to talk about make you want to throw up when you're peeling that skin off. And it was just coming off, and she seen it, and she's like, oh yeah, we might want to take you on over here to this room real quick. And she hit the button to call somebody to
Yeah.
tell them I was going to room number 7, I think it was. And she said, I'm going to wrap it up the best I can, but I'm going to get somebody over here pretty quick to look at you.
There was one point when she was stitching it up, or maybe she was still giving you the lidocaine. He was holding it there, and it was just like dripping. You could see where his pulse was like pulsating, and it was
Mhm.
just dripping off his finger.
It was rough.
Surprised they didn't give you anything like. They have that like
Clot stuff.
yeah, the clot stuff, and then like the stop bleed or whatever you gonna call it.
Yeah, she said with all the dirt and everything where I got it around grease and rubber, and
Yeah,
she said I'd rather it bleed to try to flush out some of the
oh,
bacteria.
that's true.
I soaked it. She gave me like those little throw up pans, you know,
Mhm.
the little P-shaped thing. She filled it full of saline, and I stuck my hand in there for over an hour.
Oh,
And she was still having to scrape out little pieces of debris in it.
God dang, dude. Yeah, you did catch it good then. Which I mean, from the picture that I seen, yeah, looked like
Barely
almost
hanging
like
on.
sawtooth your finger.
Mhm.
I was like, golly, dude.
So if any of y'all
Yeah.
work on cars,
That's the serpentine belt
if
for
you
you.
see the belt, the pulley on them, I'd say like an alternator where it's got the 5 or 6 grooves in it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the bottom side of my finger looked like.
Yeah.
Those
It really
grooves
is.
cut slits in my finger, and it was.
He kept calling it. It looked like hamburger.
It
It looked like
did.
ground up hamburger.
It did.
Yeah.
Once I got my lidocaine in, the numbing medicine in me, and the nerve medicine in me, I was feeling good. I was talking junk. I was
Oh, they also give you an oxycodone.
having a good time. Yeah, and she did give me an oxycodone.
So you got that and lorazepam. I was just talking away.
I was feeling good. And then I got some Chinese food afterward. It was probably 5 minutes before they closed, but we went in there anyway.
Yeah, it was like 11:30 at night, and he's like, "I want Chinese."
Oh, we didn't stay there. We were back home by 10 o'clock the first night. Because I went in at 6. We left at about
That's right. We were there for like
9:30, I think it was.
It was after 10.
No, the Chinese place closes at 10. So we left at 9:30. We got home at 10.
One hair and solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they closed at 10.
But I got me some sesame chicken and some pork fried rice.
And you ate like 2 bites of it.
No, I ate half of it. And then I ate the other half for lunch the next day.
Okay.
This fool cuts his daggum finger off and then goes, I'm hungry. He's
I
gonna eat.
was
His
starving
defense.
because we didn't eat
He
supper.
skipped dinner.
Well, yeah, that's true.
Because I was headed home. We were gonna have a soccer game for our oldest son, and I called her and I said, I ain't gonna be able to make it to the soccer game. I just cut my finger real bad. I'm going to the hospital, and I ain't waiting on you. So
I'm
you
trying.
meet me
Yeah,
there.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out what do you need from me, and he's like, I don't know. I'm just gonna go to the hospital.
You
I
can
don't know,
meet me
hurt my
there
finger.
or whatever.
I was
but
needing you to cut my finger.
it was just that moment of panic. I gotta go somewhere fast.
Tell me what you need.
Why didn't you just wait?
Cause I couldn't
check it.
wait.
No, why didn't you just wait to check the daggum AC compressor?
Cause it was
Turn
until
the car
after the
off.
game?
it was hot that day, and I wanted air
The
conditioning.
window for a reason.
I wanted air conditioning on the ride
You
home.
knew you had a game to go to.
It
Just
was-
wait.
It
I
wasn't just a
didn't
game
take
either. It was
wrenches
his
or
first
whatever.
game. We missed his first game.
Dude.
I didn't take wrenches or anything. I was just open the hood to look at it. It was gonna be a 2-second,
Okay, so
Little
here's the
thing.
thing. Next time, stick a freaking wrench down there
and I
to
know.
flick it.
I
Find
know.
a stick.
That's what a lot of people told me. They said, "You didn't use a hammer?" I was like, "Nope." And they said, "Well, you're going to now, ain't you?" I said, "Yeah."
I was telling one of my other friends about it, and then like 2 days later, she said that something was wrong with her car. So her husband went to go look at it. She said, "Do not touch anything." She said, "I'm
Cut the engine
traumatized."
off. Cut the engine off.
So that's why they make these signs that say, "Don't touch, don't get anywhere near that moving
Yeah.
parts." I was thinking real hard. I was like, I could sue Pontiac for this because there's no guard that says, "Do not put your finger in here."
As old as that freaking
You're
car
gonna
is,
be
it's
one of
probably
those
gone.
people,
I ain't gonna be
like the
one of
lady
those
that sued
guys.
McDonald's for getting the hot coffee on herself.
Yeah, for spilling hot coffee on herself. But it would be something that I'm sure that's happened. There's no
Oh.
warning labels, and that's how a lot of these recalls get started. Because
Probably was a warning label, but like I said,
no,
as
there
old
wasn't one there. I dang sure look.
As old as that car is, it's probably gone.
There's not even a. You would think there would be a guard over top of the belts, but there's not. I mean, it's just open. You would think there'd be some kind of shield to keep that from happening.
How old's that car?
An 05.
Okay, yeah. So they didn't think of that stuff back then.
I don't
either.
know, 19 years ago.
Yeah.
That's why a lot of your new cars have that big old honking piece of plastic
Yeah.
over top of everything.
And you got to take 20 million freaking bolts out of it just to get
Because
it
of,
off.
because of people like me.
Yeah.
But it was an eventful that was Tuesday the 13th. And then I went back Friday the 23rd to get the stitches out. So the last 2 weeks was pretty eventful. Staying at home, trying not to hurt and ache, and I stayed out of work for a week because I couldn't do anything, couldn't drive. It was hurting me so bad.
Aren't you glad you could have started driving an automatic.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have to shift anything then.
Yeah. My biggest problem wasn't driving, it was having to hold my hand on the wheel. And I don't care if you got a brand new vehicle, you're going to have a little bit of movement in the steering wheel.
Well, as bad as your truck shakes.
Yeah. The way that thing shakes, it's pretty rough sitting there just bouncing and that finger sitting there thumping.
Freaking talk to him on the road. All I hear is, oh, oh.
Or you get the, this thing's so annoying.
Yeah. I get that too.
Or he comes home, he's like, "Oh, my abs are," because I just go.
Gotta just sit back on the couch and stretch out for an hour
That's
afterwards.
your homemade ab machine right there.
I ain't lying. If you'd seen my abs and I ain't been working out in a while,
Would you looked at it just this morning? You like, look at my abs.
they still look pretty decent because I sit there down the road and shake all day.
Can I ride along with you? I need to work on my abs too.
So you
Huh?
been busy lately?
I've been pretty busy myself, but we've had
Kids going back to school, so y'all are
Yeah.
starting up.
How'd you get into coaching?
so
Did you get suckered into it?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
They needed
My-
help, and you were the guy for the job.
I reckon. I don't know if I am the guy. Or, after this weekend, I'm kind of second guessing it because I'm just like, oh crap.
This is rough.
Yeah, well, it's one of the ones that's like I just want to get your ass out there and come on, let's go.
These are what, 5-year-olds? You can't say
5
that
and
to
6.
them.
Yeah.
And you can't yell at them and
They're
scream
not
at 'em.
all just your kid.
Yeah, it's one of those things of like, all right, but it was technically, so my youngest son he's starting to play football and he's on 6U and so it's flag, and the guy that I know, the head coach, he's actually a buddy of mine that I went to high school with,
Who is it?
Spencer Schaffner.
Don't know.
Yep, he's older than me, so
Oh, that's
no
all right.
problem. Yeah.
Because, well, you were a senior when I was a freshman.
But he there, and I played 1 year of football with him, and then another buddy of mine, his son was on the team. They suckered him into coaching, and then it turns out another buddy of mine, that's the same age as Spencer, graduated a year before me, and I played football with him too. They suckered him into coaching. I was like, nope.
Did they start with only one coach?
Pretty much.
How many are they supposed to have?
Well, let's say, I'd say about 5 would work perfect. I mean, because I know, so the 12U, they have about 6. 10U has about 5 coaches. They actually suckered Nick Manus into coaching too. Because Ralston's playing.
Yeah.
And then 8U, I know they've got about 4 coaches.
Nick ever played for me?
I don't know.
He probably did in high school.
I don't know if he did or not. He
played basketball, I know, because when we used to play at church, dude would do pretty dang.
He'd be dunking on like.
He'd be dunking on like
15-year-olds.
7-year-olds, 8-year-olds.
But they kind of actually it was actually Mr. Hiley who's the one that suckered me into doing it. He's like, we had somebody out there that actually knew how to freaking play football, and he looked dead at me. And I was like, what's that supposed to mean? No.
What, the last time he played was 15 years ago?
Yeah, pretty much.
The girl coaching our son's soccer team, she said, I don't know anything about soccer.
Oh yeah, she's.
But it's 4 and 5-year-olds, so
yeah.
I mean,
Well, that's like
there's not a whole lot to do.
The guy who's in charge of it, Kobe over Parks and Rec, he had called me and he was like, "Hey, we need one more coach for Adam's team." I said,
No.
I don't know anything about coaching or soccer. He said, "Okay," and hung up the phone.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
And wrangling 3 kids at a soccer game, no.
Yeah.
There's plenty of other people that can coach.
I've actually been thinking about doing it because, I mean, I've helped with T-ball and stuff, and they kind of said, all right, you got to go do a background check, you got to go do this, and take tests and all this stuff to be USA certified, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I've got a certificate and everything. So
Ooh, you fancy.
I know. I'm big time. I can put that thing on the placard.
Don't forget about us little people over here.
I mean, hey, it's only flag football though. So, but no,
You run over there and you pull that flag,
that's
boy.
right. Don't tackle him! Don't tackle him! No! Don't tackle him!
My
I've
first,
had to do that several times Saturday.
you're gonna staple up the flags that you're gonna bring one home from each game as a ceremonial piece and
No.
stick it to your wall.
What?
This is the first game I coached and tack it up.
I'm not doing that. No. But no, we had Saturday we had what they call a jamboree. So 3 different teams from the area come in to our place and played.
I don't want to be on threads. Leave me alone.
It was pretty much like herding cats, almost.
You should come to one of the soccer games.
I mean, it was. So we did have a few of the kids that was ready to play. We really did. I mean, we had one boy that was pumped. He was ready to go. And I told him, I said, look, and we tell every one of them this, whose flag do we grab? Oh no. I was like, we grab the one that has the ball. Okay. So the boy is, I don't know. I guess he's just so freaking hyped and ready to play.
Let's go.
He's grabbing all the flags off of the other team. I'm like, what are you doing? You only have to grab it off the one that's got the ball. Oh. And he continues to grab the flags off the other team. I'm like, dude, stop. And then he even grabbed them. Because, I mean, technically you're not supposed to grab the flags off the defensive players. But we'd be on offense, and he'd still grab them off the darn defensive players. I'm like, dude, we're the ones with the ball.
Guess he's not grabbing, your team's flag.
Oh, no, he did a few times,
He
too.
was.
Oh.
He did a few times. I was like, dude,
They got
I understand you're pumped. I'm glad you're pumped. But make sure you're grabbing the right flag.
it's hard for the kids to just grasp that and understand it.
Yeah. Which, I mean, there was, luckily for him, he's a good kid and he's hyped and everything. And I loved his energy the whole time because he'd run back up to me and he'd go, I just pancaked this boy. I put him on the ground. I was like, good. Get up and do it again. But, I mean,
He's got good potential, so
yeah,
that's good.
he does. But there was some that just, I want to go home.
How'd
Your
your kid
son.
do?
Oh, mine, yeah.
He
Mine was
wanted
the
to go
one.
home.
Yes. Mine, well, I think from what it seemed like and from what we could gather was the first team that we played, those kids were advanced 6-year-olds. Like, they've been playing ball for a little while and together. And some of them were big. I mean, height-wise and size-wise. They were big. They looked like...
What's that movie? Is it Benchwarmers? Where they?
Yeah.
I am 12.
They get, yeah.
It's
Like a
grown
full-grown
man,
adult.
he's like,
I mean, I
am-
even asked one of my coaches, I said, you think we need to check birth certificates for some of these kids?
Yeah.
He's like, probably so.
I don't know if it's bench warmers. It might be where
It is.
that real big guy's on the little league team.
It's like this big Mexican guy or something.
And then he's like, "Where's his birth certificate?" It's a piece of paper,
With
and he
written in
He
crayon.
wrote like, "I am 12,"
Yes.
but he's clearly like 40.
Well, and we had at least 2 kids out, so that cut us down to about 12 kids. And they had every bit of like 22, 24 kids playing. All on 6U. I was like, we're going to get slaughtered. And we did. But,
And it was one of those things that your team, y'all had just a few guys, so they would get worn out and tired. But when that team had so many that could sit bench, and then the next
Now-
quarter,
Is the other teams you play, did they like through their high schools too, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
So it's not like rec ball where so many people sign up and they just divide them.
yeah, they're I think from what I understand now is none of them are really per se rec ball for football anymore. It's all ran kind of through the high school. We had Northwest Guilford, Northern Guilford, Eastern Randolph there that day. Yeah, but there's also Eden, Trinity, Southeast Guilford, Randleman. I think one other team, and I can't remember what it is. But it's all pretty much put on by the high schools now instead of rec ball stuff, and that's why they even tell them now that you have to have a real ID, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess it's because it's ran through the high school
I
now.
thought it was kind of crazy. You had to take your 4-year-old to the DMV to get an ID card.
Luckily, we got out of it because they said, okay, we're having so many people not get an ID or show the
Having
ID.
trouble with it.
It's taking so long. Just give us a copy of your birth certificate. Like, okay, I got one of them. It's a heck of a whole lot easier. But we're thinking that probably at least week 3, maybe, that they're going to get the grasp of it, because we did show potential in the second game. So we scored a touchdown in the second game. That first game, we didn't score nothing. I mean, it was horrible. We couldn't even get the ball out of the backfield. It was, horrible. But the second game, we kind of moved the ball down the field a little bit and then scored a touchdown or 2, and then
You at least get a first down.
but actually they don't do first downs. That's the thing. They have a clock, 15-minute clock. So one team starts off on offense and it runs for 15 minutes. Once 15 minutes up, the other team moves over to offense. So
It makes it fair for the little ones.
yeah, and it moves them right along. being it's still running. But that other team, the first one, oh, it was like, okay, they called a play out, they got in formation, they were ready to go, they snapped the ball and they were gone. I was like, why can't our kids do that?
That's
What's
like
going
at the
on?
soccer teams. We played them twice now, and there's this one little Hispanic boy, and y'all know Hispanics are good at soccer. This boy is like running his team. I'm thinking, dang, that dude is good.
Yeah.
Why can't our team kick like
Oh
that?
my god, our team has like no structure at all.
They're just running like you said, like herding cats. They're running everywhere,
Oh,
but they're having fun. So.
oh yeah. That was one of the things that our coach said, the head coach Spencer. He was like, "I'm gonna have to definitely intensify practices now
Yeah.
because these some big boys."
Oh, we played one team and like the coach was doing stretches and whatnot with the
Yeah.
other team. And I was like, yeah, we are not
Yeah.
organized.
Nah, I mean we can do warm ups and stuff like that and stretch out, but once it comes to okay, we're gonna run the ball to the left or run the ball to the right, no, or okay, quarterback keep. We had one to go. Okay, guys, we're gonna run the quarterback keep. What the boy do?
Threw it.
No, we don't throw the ball. They threw the ball. We didn't. We don't have anybody really technically to catch the ball or throw the ball. But he turns around and acts like he's gonna hand it off to the running back, and he's standing there waiting. Like, all right, come here. No, keep it and run. And he's still standing there. Like, keep it, run.
Just run.
Yeah. But by the time it was, I think the second time we hollered at him, just run. Nope, yeah, flag was already pulled. It's like, dadgummit. But
It's a little
mine,
stressful.
mine was the one that he decided. He went in the first game on defense, and then got pushed around a little bit by the bigger boys. And I think that's kind of why he come out and said, "No, I'm done."
Hurt his pride a little
And
bit.
Heard
he's
it-
not
heard
used
him
to it
just-
with his brother pushing him around.
Well, I know, but I don't know what it was. It just, I don't think he was completely fully awake, being it was 9 o'clock in the morning, and he wasn't really wanting to go and do all this. I'm like, no, your butt's going.
You signed up for it.
We signed up for it. You're ready to go. You've been wanting to play. But we had,
It's like our son. He don't really want to play soccer. He's getting kind of bored of it and gets embarrassed with all the people watching him
Yeah.
and stuff. But we told him you're gonna finish it out. If you don't want to play next year, that's fine. But you're gonna at least finish this one.
yeah, which he, yeah, I was proud of him because he did come back in for the second game, for the second half of the second game to play on defense, and he actually went up there and knocked some boys down. I was like, heck yeah,
I mean,
That's
he's
right.
a little stout little thing
Yeah,
yeah,
your boy's down.
he is. I give him that.
compared
Is
to
there-
our kids.
Only like
Put his
5 or 6 month difference between yours and yours.
yeah, I think so.
And look at that, how much smaller ours is.
Yeah, he's and every bit of him is about solid like a muscle too. I mean, it said in the church today. I mean, they didn't have children's church today, so it was. We got up, stand, do the song and stuff. He's like, "Daddy, pick me up." It's like, seriously, son, you're too big for this.
Yeah.
Cause he's every bit of 60 pounds. I mean, at least every bit of 50, 60 pounds.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, just stand up on the pew, and then I'll hold you. No, pick me up, pick me up. I'm like,
I
golly.
seen him getting mad at you for something, either mad at you or his brother.
No, he was
whining
getting-
about something,
Yeah, he was.
getting bored.
Yeah, that, and he was wanting water and everything else. I'm like, dude, I don't have any water, and there's not no water. There's no water fountain back there
That's
anymore.
why we started
so stop.
forcing ours to go to children's church. 'Cause
Yeah,
he gets so bored sitting there,
Like
and he's
today,
just
he
all
was
up
about-
on me or Zach, and I'm
Yeah.
like, go away.
He was bored out of his mind today.
Mason did all right. I mean, he sat there and did his found little world. How can I speak? Word puzzles and stuff, and did that. And sit there and mess with grandma for a little bit. But
I stopped bringing the little like toys in my bag. So he
mm,
goes, Mommy, I want to play with my drugs. Like, I don't have them. Mommy,
yeah,
I want to do this.
I think Sammy had like a little Lego thing, and he just kept twirling around, and he'd break the little chain off of it. Daddy,
He wants you to put it back together
it's like,
just so he can rip it apart
Yeah.
in another 5 minutes.
and then he'd bite on it and twirl it around and pull on it. I was like, if you freaking quit pulling on it, it wouldn't break. Little punk. But no, what it was is he's getting a little mad because he goes, I want some water. I'm like, son, I don't have no water. We're fixing to be done. We'll get some after church. I want water. I want some water.
Oh yeah, I kept hearing, Mommy, I'm hungry. I want snacks in your bag. I don't have any snacks in my bag.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Or,
so, I mean, I actually turned around and looked at Derek and said, you got any water? He's like, starts frantically looking around. He goes, hold on. Grabs his phone and he takes his Gage, his son, and says, go over and get some water from the fellowship hall. So Gage, that's why Gage walked out the door and ran over to the fellowship hall just to get me a water. I was like, yes.
just
Like,
to settle him down for a minute.
Just to shut him up, and we had like
No
8
lie, there was one Sunday when I was still pregnant. I was like, I am so thirsty. I thought about like getting up and walking down to the room in the basement see if they had water. So I was like, I'm gonna.
I don't know if
die
that one
there.
does, but I know if you went over to the fellowship hall, you'd have definitely got
I know,
one.
but it was locked that Sunday, so I was like, there might be water downstairs.
And it just, we had 8 minutes to go. That was the thing. I was like, dude, you cannot wait.
You needed water
I
right
want
now.
some water. I want some water.
Isn't there a water fountain between the?
No,
they
not
put,
anymore.
They put an AED up now.
Oh yeah.
And that's why I didn't get up and take you back there. I was
If
like,
you would have
it's
had
not back
like an
there.
empty cup or something, you could have got some out of the spigot. But
You should just held him up to the sink.
Yeah, I reckon so. That's what I do next
stick
time.
your head under there.
Like, come on, let's go to the bathroom. Turn the water fountain on.
Spigot.
Whatever. Spigot, water fountain, the same daggone thing. Water comes out of it, don't it? Yes.
Talking about church, I've been talking with Barry a little bit, and we finally talked to another guy today about maybe doing a movie showing at the church for the Duck Dynasties movie.
Yeah.
I think it'd be pretty good this year. They got a pretty good testimony. I know you said you've watched it, but I have
Yeah.
never seen it. But it'd probably be one of them movies you'd watch it again, wouldn't you?
I'm debating on it.
Sure.
It'd be. I mean, yeah. It's a good story, and it's a very one that you want to sit down and kind of live by story
Mhm.
almost of how to change your life and all that stuff. I don't know. I'd sit down and watch it again, maybe, yeah. But I'd be like, I know what happens.
Yeah.
I know
So
what
don't
happens.
sit by Barry.
Like, I've seen this.
Well, we just gotta find a time to do it. Maybe schedule it. Talking about doing like a little movie night thing at the church. And depending on weather, we can use the outdoor inflatable screen, and even talked about maybe
Is it
doing
the
a
church?
drive-in movie for it.
Yeah,
Where
we
we
do
could link it in with the church's audio, so we could use the radio station they got, so you can sit in your car and be able to hear it.
You have a radio station?
Yeah, the church has got a radio station.
I don't know.
From
Channels.
back during COVID, I don't remember what channel it is, but
Oh, I thought they just used the big old speaker.
no, back during
They're
COVID,
using
you
the
could,
speaker now, I think, but
you
I think
could
it's the-
turn it to a certain channel on your radio, and you could hear it through your vehicle
Look
speaker.
at us being fancy.
Mhm.
I
Hey,
would
they
definitely
could do-
that.
Jimmy said something about they were probably thinking about doing youth camp during the fall. Raise money for that.
Yeah,
Sell some popcorn,
yeah,
hot dogs.
yeah, and
Sometimes you're smart.
Sometimes.
thinking
Some-
hard tonight.
Sometimes.
I've told Zach before, I said, you know how blondes
on
are
sleep.
ditzy?
So
Barry's
not tired.
ditzy.
What?
Yeah, you're pretty ditzy.
You know, I did start off as a blonde too, so
Yeah,
yeah,
it
my roots
shows.
are blonde.
It shows.
Sometimes I'm like, what did you just say? I don't know what I said.
It's like
did
last
you
night
say
when y'all
that?
were on
I
the
don't know.
phone. He had you on speaker, and I was just listening to everything. And you said, I don't even know what you did, but you were just talking. You were like, this this thing. And I'm like, get to the point here, Barry.
Listen, sometimes my mouth runs faster than my brain. It's like that.
No,
I just think your brain doesn't connect, and you don't know the words.
At times, yes.
a little bit dyslexic.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Dyslexic.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Oh,
Yeah.
my
Mom
mouth
said.
runs. Yeah. My mouth runs a little bit faster
My
than my brain.
if you call him out on it, he can't do a sentence to save his life. It's like when he starts thinking about it.
Yeah, see, I do have to think about it at times. And I wish I need to slow down and be like, okay, I'm going to talk like this now. That's what I should do.
My name is Barry Hicks, and I am not being held against my will. You know, like the joke they always
Dadgummit.
say.
She was right. Okay, so this lady that I work with, we were messing around in the office the other day.
You're messing around.
Shut up. But one of my coworkers, he can do Donkey from Shrek very well, and we was kind of messing around because Derek was wearing a green shirt that day, and we was calling him Shrek.
Brandon
So-
is a pretty chubby guy.
Yeah, and Benny's got a green shirt on. We can call him Shrek, and he's like, oh. Well, she called me the gingerbread.
Gingerbread man.
She called me, the gingerbread cookie from the second one.
Oh, the giant?
The giant gingerbread one. The one that was a little slow.
He goes, not the gumbo.
Not
Yes.
the gumdrop button.
That one. Yes. I was like,
I
how
can
could
see
be-
that.
Yeah.
You should dress up as that for Halloween.
But I get it now. I see why she called me that. Dadgummit.
It was funny. I won't forget it. We went to a concert. I think it was Brooks and Dunn. And there was this girl.
It was.
She was real drunk, and she was just come up talking to us at the end of the night.
No,
but
she was like talking next to us, and then you made fun of her, and then she came over to us, and I was like, go away.
But her voice was all scratchy, so she was talking like this. And I told her, I was like, I want to get it on video, and I want you to say something about the Muffin Man, where he,
Do you know?
do you know the Muffin
Yes.
Man? I had her say it on video, and she was like, do you know?
Mind you, this girl, I don't even know if she was 21, but she was just doing that in front of us for like 5 minutes, and I'm like, go away now.
Because I was standing there with Blue, and I was like, Blue, you gotta hear this girl talk. And he heard her talking, and he was like, yeah, she sounds just like him.
I was the first time I've been called that. Actually, that was the first time I ever thought of that because I didn't even remember who that cookie was.
I see it now, and I'm never gonna not see it.
Yeah. You're welcome. I've actually been called Beaker too.
What was that one for?
Muppets.
Oh, yeah.
I
been
think
a
the last
while.
time I watched the Muppets, I was like 4.
Beaker's the one that's
That's
like
like-
the, yeah. Yeah, been called that too, and that's fine. It's fine. One ear out the other. But
Yeah, everybody's been calling me Finger Boy for the last 2 weeks. Everybody I've seen, you're like, there's Finger Boy right there.
I think you've got it a little worse than I do then.
Yeah.
Beaker and that gingerbread one, that's fine with me.
A finger boy
And
makes
they're-
me think of the thumb people off of Spy Kids.
And one boy asked me the other day, I was talking to him, I was like, yeah, I pulled engines and transmissions and all that. And he's like, and you still didn't figure out where to put your finger at? Where not to put your finger? I was like, yeah, shut up. I know.
Zach. Oh man.
We've been like back to what we were saying. We're trying to work on some different events with the church. They talked about fall festivals, and maybe we did have the back to school bash cookout today that Barry missed.
That's fine.
Lame.
Oh, it wasn't lame. It wouldn't have been a cookout. It was freaking walking tacos.
No, it was
It wasn't
legit
walking
tacos.
It was just tacos.
It was tacos,
Whatever.
and
Tacos are tacos.
they're
It's
talking
just
about
street taco.
doing other camps and different stuff like that. But Derek was serious about trying to get the movie thing situated. I think a lot of people, like he said, a lot of the older generation really would probably really like it because they
Oh, yeah.
probably grew up in that same mindset with back in the day. There were a lot of alcoholics due to the depression and stuff like
Yeah.
that,
I
and the
think-
moonshining real bad.
I think a lot of, like you said, a lot of the older ones would show up, and then
Not real good for mental health too.
yeah. I mean, it
We did talk about doing a second movie over in the fellowship hall for the kids. Like if they didn't want,
no, yeah,
if people didn't want their kids watching the other movie, maybe talking to some people if they would want to host a movie, like a Disney movie or something, for the youngins. Next
Yeah.
door, maybe have little snacks and whatnot.
I mean, it'd be one. So if you put the one outside, I mean that wouldn't be too bad because then you can have the kids running around, whatever else, doing their own little thing.
Mm.
But if you did it in the fellowship hall, I know I think they have a screen in there, don't they, or something other?
Mm.
Mm.
You could have the kids in the fellowship hall hanging out.
Yeah,
That way you wouldn't have to watch 20 or 30 kids running around outside.
yeah.
And then maybe do the
I mean, there is a playground back there. Just go play.
maybe do the movie for the adults either in the sanctuary or out in as a
Yeah.
drive-in thing. Or it probably would work better if we didn't do a drive-in. We just had people bring chairs because the parking area from the parking area to where you could
Well,
put
I
the
mean,
screen
It'd be,
isn't that far away.
yeah.
Everybody would get crowded up and you wouldn't be able to see the movie too good.
Some of them we could still sit in the car, and then some of them could just bring chairs.
Yeah, we'd just have
It was
to
both.
leave an area in front of the screen where nobody could park their car, because I wouldn't want people that were sitting back a little ways not to be able to see it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
If you're sitting down in a chair and stuff like that, you should be able to see pretty
Oh,
good.
I'm talking about
Versus-
for the drive-in people.
Well,
If
yeah.
you had 10 cars parked right in front of the screen, the second row wouldn't be able to really see it too well.
No,
You'd have to leave a spot open.
we get it figured out.
Yeah. So if any of y'all want to come, shoot us a message and we'll let you know once we get it finalized.
Yeah.
But if you just want to come to church, there's plenty of room for you.
Oh yeah.
They were busy. There was a bunch of people there today, though. I don't know if you
I didn't-
noticed that. It was packed today.
Nah, I didn't really notice that. I mean, it was youth day, but I
We
think a
got
lot
in
of the
there-
youth showed up. That's why.
We got in a little bit late this morning, and that whole parking lot was full of people.
Everybody drove separate. That's
Yeah.
why. Everybody drove separate.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because I know, yeah, row behind me was full. My row really wasn't full.
It's a Baptist church. All the back roads are going to be full.
That's true. That's why you need to get there early
Yeah.
if you can claim a back row.
Yeah.
And don't you dare move off that corner.
Or you just come a lot and you
You
stick your
pick your
dominance.
Pretty
For
much.
your row.
Yeah.
It's about like a dog. You go piss on it, and it's like, this is my spot. And it's just, you don't have to tell anybody. They just know that this is his spot.
Yep.
This is so and so.
And then when a new person shows up and they don't know and they sit there, it's like, dang, what do we do now? Where do I sit now?
It was kind of, a lot of them are dumbfounded because I know I walked in today and I seen Grandma in a totally different pew from where she normally was. I'm like, what the crap? And then I seen, oh, there's somebody sitting on the end of it and it's saying, excuse me, and going through, she just went to the back, she went to the next row that was empty. I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah. easier for her than having to try to shuffle through.
Yeah, which most of the time she has to shuffle through us, especially if we're getting there before she does. But we sat down and then Brad come in, so yeah, we had enough room for everybody.
No, yeah.
Sammy sitting there rolling around, up underneath the pew and everything else. I'm like, dude, get up. But
It ain't too bad. At least he wasn't screaming or anything.
he was getting
Keeping
to
his
it.
composure. Yeah, I looked over one time and he was crying pretty hard. He was all upset about something.
He was fake. That was fake tears. I know darn well.
Yeah,
it was.
but he was just pouting over something. I could see.
He was, and it was that water. That's what
Because he
it
couldn't
was.
get water.
Yes, that's exactly
It's
what
funny
it was.
when we used to do it too, and our parents were like, "You're just bored." No, I'm thirsty. Adam will do that at soccer practice or a soccer game. He'll want water 20 times. I'm like, buddy, you hadn't done anything to need water. But I'm thirsty.
He didn't do that at football this time, but he did in church today. This little turd ball freaking grabbed the water bottle and then took one daggum sip out of it and was like, "Here you go."
Mm-hmm.
I was like, "You said you were thirsty."
You made such a big deal about needing water.
I'm like, dude. Well then, yeah, he's like, "All right, I want it back." Started drinking more, and then his brother wanted some. Like, all right.
You need to just continue to carry your little metal water bottle with you to church.
I reckon so. And leave it there.
Bring your little small backpack in there with some stuff in it.
I've had that, and Mason, as soon as I found out they were in children's church, I was like, crap. There's no children's church.
That's us. We had
What am I gonna do?
had a little backpack with a bunch of toys in it and everything, and she cleaned out her bag because they were doing children's church. Then today they weren't doing children's church, and it's
So
like,
we walked in there.
dang it, what do we do now?
Was like, I don't want to go to children's church. I said, they don't have it today. Quit crying. You lucked out. Just sit here. I don't want to go.
He says he don't want to go, but then when they get him to go, he has a good time.
Yeah. I mean, mine always come in instead of going up there to the front and sitting down. Mine go over and sit with me. I'm like, all right, whenever they say last call, take your butt up there. And yep, they're the last ones running. I'm like, you don't have to run. They're gonna wait on you. Your butt would go up there in the freaking first place. But no, you gotta come sit down with me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, Bart, ready to wrap this up?
Yeah, I reckon so. I'll pull up the Bible verse. I'm gonna let you read it because I'm dyslexic. You heard me. See,
You would mess up a word.
I would.
He does about every time.
I really do.
What? Alright, today is Philippians chapter 1, verses 9 through 11. This I pray that your love may abound, yet more and more in knowledge and in all discernment, so that many approve the things that are excellent, that you may be sincere and without offense to the day of Christ, being filled with fruits of righteousness, which are through Jesus Christ to the glory and praise of God. Sorry, that flower kind of messed up the white letter.
I think I clicked on the wrong app too, but it's still a Bible
See
verse.
right there on the edge.
Yeah.
It's a verse of
Yeah,
the day.
I clicked on the wrong app, but it's alright.
Be sure to check us out on Facebook, TikTok, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Music, and Amazon.
YouTube
And we got YouTube at
and TikTok.
Map Productions. We got TikTok. We got everything. What's our email? One more time.
What?
The
Oh.
email.
poolboychronicles23@gmail.com.
And if you've emailed us there, we're sorry. We probably haven't checked it in 6 months. So if you send us emails,
Someone's sitting there, why haven't they talked about my topic?
why don't they ask me to be on there? Like, because we haven't looked into the
Oops.
emails lately.
My bad.
But yeah, do us a favor and like and subscribe. We'll try to get the video and everything posted. Share it with your friends, people. You know who we're talking about. It ain't hard to click that share button.
Yes, it is.
You know who I'm talking about, Barry.
I know. That's why I said it's pretty
One
hard to share.
of the main ones of the podcast, and he don't even share the darn thing.
You just tagged me in it, so it goes right to mine
Yeah.
anyway.
All right, y'all be good.
Later.
Appreciate you watching. Video cut off.
Did it cut off?
Oh, I gotta get it stopped.